I could talk to you about independent wrestling forever, but there's other stories that have come up recently that are the reason I made contact with you again to talk for the website. Now, first of all, before we get to the exclusive I ran, the reason I did this piece was because Mike Chioda did this interview, or not even interview, it was like a podcast for Conrad, where he talked about how you guys used to go up and down the road smizzing all the time, which I think is a word that we successfully introduced to the common wrestling fan, which is short for smoking weed, right? Smizzing, is it right?
Well, I think Chioda was the one who gave it the name Smizz, because that's where I first heard that from, was from Mike Chioda, the word Smizz. Let me give a big shout out to Mike Chioda. Great guy. Love traveling with him, man. We had such a wonderful time on the road. And like I said, he's correct. We smizzed all the time, man. And that's how you really had to ride, man. I mean, the job was stressful, man. You leave an arena at 12 o'clock at night, then you may have to drive 300 miles to the next town, and you don't get in there till 5 a.m. in the morning. And, it's just stressful, but we had a great time driving those long trips because we get us some Smizz, and long as we smizzing, man, the ride it was fun. It was great. So I love riding with Chioda. He was just a great guy to be with, man. He just outstanding, man. That's all I can say. Shout out to Mike Chioda.
So were you ever worried? Because that was a period where now it's very relaxed, which we could talk about in a second, but were you ever worried about smoking in WWE, like the opinion of the culture and all that at the time?
Well, at one time, I had to quit, when they first started the testing, I stopped, because, I had a lot of respect for Vince, and Vince did a lot for me. So I said, hey, man, I got my job is more important. And so I don't want to let Vince down.
When did that happen, by the way, just real quick?
When I first started working, when I first started managing, first being the general manager of SmackDown.
Okay.
And they started bringing the drug tests in. So then that's when it first started. So I just quit. I didn't want to, like I said, I don't want to let Vince down. That man gave me the opportunity of a lifetime, and the reason I'm where I am today is because of Vince. And so I quit, and so maybe about a year I might have quit for a real long time. Wow. And so what made me start back, man? I think I just got kind of burnt out. I'd been on the road over like 25 years of my life, and all I did was come home for like 2 days out of the week, take all the dirty clothes out of my suitcase, wash them up, put them right back in, hit right back out. So I think it just kind of got stressed. And then me and Chioda, we started riding again because I kind of got away from Chioda, and I started, kind of on my own because Chioda was like refereeing, and he was always had to be there the last. He was almost the last guy to leave, and I didn't want to keep waiting around, especially if I got a 250-mile drive. So I would just kind of once I was done, and I was clear to go, then I'd go ahead and go a lot of shows by myself. But after I started riding with Chioda, I was just stressed, so we started back to smoking. And man, it was just the greatest time of my life. I started enjoying myself once again. And so I did fail a couple of tests. So I'm like, well, sooner or later, it's going to happen. So, I just didn't worry about it no more, man.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like totally different now. Like Matt Riddle's out there saying, Arcade Bro 420 just smoked your ass. Like it's part of the culture now. Like they're pretty open about how they're not penalizing people for smoking weed. And like they're going so far as to making some straight up weed references on TV these days,
Well, you know what I'm saying? You know what really got me about it? It's all a work anyway. You know what I mean? Just taking people's money, fining them and shit, for no reason. Well, I won't say no reason. I guess the reason was you smoke marijuana, there's a fine, you have to pay the fine. But I look up one day and I see a commercial and I see, golly, the doctor out of Philadelphia. I'm trying to think what his name was.
Dr. Oz?
Not Oz. It was a guy that used to come around to the wrestling.
Oh.
Golly, I can't. But a little short guy. He did some stuff with
Frank Ramascavage.
Not Ramascavage. Oh God, do I know Frank Ramascavage? But what a great! He's another great guy. Now, what was this guy, the little doctor? He did something with the Philadelphia Eagles too, and he came in. Golly, man, I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, to make my story here is I look up one day and I see him on a commercial advertising a detox drink. But you just told me Yeah, it's a fine. Marijuana is gonna eat my brain up. I'm gonna be all messed up. This is the worst drug in the world. And I saw him, I swear to you, man, on a commercial where he was advertising a detox drink.
Wow.
Unbelievable, brother. So that's what I'm saying. You know, you're gonna tell me this, all this. Then they had all these meetings, and they tried to make marijuana be like it was the worst. Like they tried to make it almost like heroin. Okay, that you know it's gonna kill our brain cells, and it's gonna do this and gonna do that. But you know, I guess that's part of it. You know, they got paid to do their job, and that's what they done.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's different now for the better too. And like you hear guys talk about like, Bret Hart's obviously very open about how, people have been just allowed to smoke weed, probably had a lot less guys get addicted to pills and stuff like that. So probably a change for the better, it would seem in my
Yeah.
opinion, embracing the marijuana.
Well, you got to look at it like this too. You know, some guys, saying out like myself, we know how to be discreet. You know, just ain't smoking all everywhere and putting all your business out there in the street. You know, letting everybody see you. So you kind of need to protect yourself and protect the company. And a lot of guys, they didn't do that. They didn't protect the company. They just get to smoking and just be all out and then start fights and bars and just that wasn't good. So one thing about me and Chioda, we smoke, but we weren't out there acting a fool, man. We do it in the car, and then back then, you couldn't do it in your room because you had to pay, if the room smell. So we just do us a good hit before we went to bed, outside on the parking lot, and we went to our room. We wasn't out there, all on social media with a blunt in our mouth, letting everybody know what we're doing, because we needed to protect the company.
Yeah, for sure. And to put a button on this, by the way, I'm going to teach everybody Carney real quick. I'm going to give away the business. You put an IZ before the first vowel in the word, and that's how you turn a word into a Carney word. Smizz is short for smizoke, which is the Carney word for smoke, and that's where the word smizz comes from. And that is Nick Hausman's 30-second Carney historical lesson on the word smizz.
Well, I learned something there from you, Nick. Thank you very much.
Yeezy was welcome, something like that. Okay. Anyway,
you're with welcome.
Yeah, so was welcome. I know I nailed the first one. So Teddy.